And there we go. Okay, let's try this again. In the top left corner, we have the yellow Protoss player Sinjin. And in the bottom left corner, we have the blue Zerg player Flexter. And this is game 1 of the round of 32 bronze silver tournament. And see how this goes. Both of them just droning up. Not much information to be had here. We can check their APMs out. Pretty equal. Looks like Sinjin's going for a fast expand. Pretty standard move against a Zerg. Flexter most likely going for a fast expand for himself. Sinjin sending out his 9 scout to the opposite corner. Could be unlucky for him if he takes a very long time to scout. Ooh, Flexter's sending out a drone to scout. Doesn't want to wait for the Overlord to find anything. Ooh, Sinjin going to the bottom right and then the top right. He's going to scout the Zerg player last. And there he goes, going Forge first. And Hatchery first for the Zerg player. Oh wait, he's got plenty of minerals. There he goes. I'm getting messaged. Tell him I'm in the middle of a stream. That's my team captain for Team Unrivaled. In case anyone was wondering. Want to watch. And there goes the pylon down for, and the turret looks like a pretty safe wall off for the Protoss player. So I'm taking all this time to message him. He's got a full wall off for our Protoss player, but there's not really much interesting stuff going on. Some Lings coming out for the Zerg player, but it's a bit too late now. He's got his turret up and the full wall off, and his Nexus just now finishing. Let's take a look at the units tab. Pretty even harvester count. And 4 Lings out right now, and Ling speed on the way for Flexter. But I really don't see much aggression being able to come out with that few Lings and a wall off, and he's got a Zealot coming out. I wonder where he's going to go from here, though. He could try to do the classic Soul Train, or maybe he's just going to try to macro it out. A lot of more harvesters coming out for our Zerg player. When those come out, they'll be about even in harvesters. Yep, exactly even. 27 harvesters each. Here comes the scout from Sinjin. He is going to scout the Roach Warren. That's a good spot for him, and then the probe goes down. But he did spot the Roach Warren. Let's look at his vision. He saw the Roach Warren. The Zerg player really has no scouting information on the Protoss. He just got a couple of Lings sitting out front. He has not moved any Overlords into position. He's still got an Overlord sitting over here and some over here. He's pretty blind as to what the Protoss could start doing. Although we don't really have +1 on the way for the Protoss. and a robotics facility going down. So it looks like he is going to go into Immortals, which is the logical counter to Zerg going Roaches. See how that goes for him. He still hasn't gotten any gas on his expansion. And a sentry coming out. It looks like he might be going for a Soul Train. Which, if you guys don't know, Soul Train was popularized by the pro player Parting. And it is a 2-base all-in with a lot of sentries and Immortals. And it's very strong against Roach Ling, which it looks like that's what Flexter is doing. So this could be a very deadly push, especially if he can get another set of upgrades out. And there he is, chrono boosting the cybernetics core. And +1 and glial reconstitution coming out for the Zerg player. So it looks like he's serious about this Roach attack. 3 more gateways going down and a warp prism. So this is almost definitely a... Oh, we canceled the warp prism actually. And going into Observer. Warp Prism is another classic part of the Parting Soul Train, so that would have been a pretty big giveaway. And he just finished his Warp Gate research with 4 Warp Gates out. And the Zerg decides to take a 3rd. And here comes the Observer Scout. He will see that he has a few Roaches out. Ooh, the Hydralisk Den coming down, and a 3rd Evolution Chamber. That's interesting. Hydralisks are very strong against Immortals. If you can get enough Hydralisks out before the big Immortal push happens, he should be able to hold it, and then he'll be in a pretty good position considering his 3-base. This does not look like he's going to do a 2-base Immortal all-in. He just does not have enough units out. Usually you want about the 10-minute mark, you want 2 to 3 Immortals and maybe 6 to 10 sentries even, depending on how many you're going, and he just does not have enough to be able to pull a full push. And he is going for the Warp Prism, and he's rallying it behind the Zerg Brace, so it looks like he's going for some drop play. And a Robotics Bay has finished, so it looks like he's just going to... Yep, he is transitioning into Colossus now. Another robotics facility, and 4 more gateways go down for our Protoss player. Let's check out the incomes. Incomes are pretty even. The Zerg is a bit ahead just because of... Oh, that's evened out with the harvester count. But the Zerg will pull ahead in a bit once he finishes that 3rd base. No more upgrades on the way for the Protoss player. Did just warp in 4 more Zealots. His observer sitting here knows he hasn't expanded this way, but I don't think he... Oh, he has scouted this expansion, so he does know the expansion. And just picking off some Lings there. A couple of Hydralisks starting to come out. He's still massing more Roaches. That's a decent amount of Hydralisks, but Hydralisks will get destroyed by Colossi, which it looks like he's going pretty heavily into Colossi, researching Thermal Lance now. Let's check the active forces. Bit in favor of the Zerg player. He does have an Overseer out, so he won't... If he spots that Observer, that could be bad for the Protoss player. Especially if he starts transitioning into Swarm Host, which is a new favorite of Zerg players against Protoss. Let's go back to production. He's going pretty heavily into these Zealots and another Immortal. It's an interesting composition here. He has not started Charge, which is pretty key if you're going heavy on Zealots, and he still hasn't done any more research past 1-1. And there is a Changeling in his mineral line. He sees all these gateways. Let's see if he spotted anything else. Oh wow, a huge drop coming in for the Protoss player. He's probably going to be able to snipe this. And yeah, he does. He snipes the hive for from Flexter. That's a pretty big win for him. His entire... And he's going to take down the Warp Prism. Oh, maybe. Oh, he leaves it there, so he's going to lose the Warp Prism. But that's a pretty big win, sniping the lair. Down to 2 base. Let's check out the Harvester count. He's down to 33 drones. That is a pretty big win right there for Sinjin. Let's see if he can survive this push. I don't see the Zerg winning this push, but he's just now started charge, which will not be there by the time this attack hits. Let's go into units lost. Are actually in favor of the Zerg. The Protoss player lost a pretty big army, and he's trying to expand right now, so he does not know that this attack is coming. He has no vision of this after he lost his observer. So that's a pretty dangerous attack, especially if he's going straight for the... Oh, nope. He's pulling back. He needs to take out those Colossi, otherwise they will just tear him up. And he's on the retreat right now. I don't see him winning this fight. He's trying to kite the Zealots, but I think there's just too many Colossi at this point. And he has neither of them are producing... Oh, another Colossi coming in, but no more units being produced by the Zerg player. This is not looking good for Flexter. He's on the retreat, but the Protoss player can just push through this and win it. I'm not seeing him going to be able to come back from this. The units lost tab are actually still in favor. Actually, no, never mind. There is now 1,000 points behind. And he's just going to push in and he's going to take this expansion. The Zerg player is not reacting and his army is tiny. This is looking like game over. He's trying to... Some of the Colossi are focusing on the hatchery and that's it. Yep. He's not able to run. That's a decent force field there. If he had only had a second force field, he would have taken out all of those. But with almost double the resources lost and 1 base, there it is. GG. Flexter goes down. Let's check the bracket real quick, see if there's any other matches that have finished since then. And it looks like Base J, however you pronounce that, has beaten JSMNSR. I'm not sure where he was going with that game. With that name, I mean. We'll see if... what's going on with the rest of this. See if I get invited to the next match. Or if we just have to wait until somebody else volunteers. Can look over the stats of that last game. APMs were pretty even. Oh, there we go. Gonna get an invite after he sets that game up. There's just a lot of supply block for... Well, I just noticed something. He's only played 58 games when he's gold. This is a bronze silver tournament. I just noticed this guy's gold. I'm gonna pause the stream while I deal with this.